All right, Shalom Israel, giving all praises to Yahweh and Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops, great millstone, my salutation to the brothers teaching word for the hopeful elect, soon to be the elect most high will, to the hopeful extended elect Shalom, blessing, man, women, children, contrite spirits returning back to the most high. I'm going to just call this 12 tribes to the 12 tribes scattered. And you could find that in James 1 and 1 and all through the scriptures, but let's see. This won't be that long, man. The fuck, man. That's Satan, man. And it says in Deuteronomy too. Deuteronomy 30 verse 3, and then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee. This is to Jerusalem, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy power hath scattered thee. So the Most High has scattered us because we are disobeying his commandments. I mean, if you're divided against your power, you being persuaded in your own minds to go astray, then you don't have no more power. So you're going to have people overtake you, man. And you're going to get scattered, sold, And it tells you this in James 1 and 1. James 1 and 1, it says, James, a servant of Yahweh and of the Lord Yahushai, to the 12 tribes, not everybody, not the world, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. And then you can go to 1 Peter 1 and 1. Peter, an apostle of Yahushai, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia. Let me get the whole thing. Come on, man. Asia and Bithynia, if I'm saying it right, elect according to the foreknowledge. They're talking about the elect. So that's why we always talk about the elect. Up to the foreknowledge of Yahweh the Father through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahweh Shai. So this Yahweh Shai, the blood was sprinkled for the elect. Grace unto you and peace and be multiplied. So now if you go to the map, man, let's go to the Israel world map. So here's section of Jerusalem. Where is that? Judea right here, Jews right here. So you born outside of Jerusalem, you're easily considered a stranger. And once appointed, initially, Egypt was a strange lander to us. And I asked Google that. I asked, was Egypt a strange land to the Israelites? Yes, for the Israelites, Egypt was initially a strange land in the sense that it was not their ancestral homeland. So anything, when we get scattered abroad, just like over here in America, this should be a strange land to our people. Even going into the captivities of these nations, it should be, because they're going to be doing strange things. And, even if, let's say you people that go into the military, people that, for a long time, 5 or 10 years, and they get home and they their parents can hardly recognize them, or you know, they change some of the things that they used to do and start. Well, military is not a really the best example, but if you've been going home away from home and then you return like 10 years later, and then you got let's use a daughter for example. You know, she was 20 when you left. She returns back. She was that little young woman when she left. She was kind of quiet and well spoken and reserved and all that. And then 10 years later, she come back. You know, her hair is blue. She got tattoos. She got a bull ring in her nose. You know, she was like, damn, that's you like a stranger to me. I don't know. You never used to like to party. You never used to smoke cigarettes, weed, whatever. Yeah, you know. So it's easy to become strange when people become distant or even scattered or even outside of their country, you know, or their birthplace, where they do certain customs and they do certain things by certain fashion. See, America's all divided. It's do as thou will. People, it's all kind of weird people. You know what I'm saying? A country supposed that they call themselves the United States, but they're not united at all. These people got different states of mind. They got atheists in here. They got Mormonism in here, Scientology. People are not on the same wavelength. They're not in the same mind. That's why people grow up believing like all these just countries are like that. Nah. If you had a country and you had a ruler, like it says in scriptures, as the mind of the ruler or the king, so is the people, and that's really not happening in America. I mean, America used to be more patriotic, but they don't. There's a lot of people that don't like Trump and shit, man. His own American citizens. So, if you're born outside, if you're born in Egypt or one of these lands, and it mentions the Acts 2:10. Go to it. So remember, Jerusalem, Israel is our homeland, not Egypt. Egypt is Mizraim is a son of Ham, not a son of Shem. So Acts 2:10, and then you can pretty much probably go to 9. So it says, it says 6. Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language, and they were all amazed. So there's such thing as speaking in tongue. If you're born over here in Arab, you're going to be speaking a form of Arabic or what have you, different lands, Sicily, Africa, it's Italy's, and if you're born in Spain or something, you're going to speak the language of the place you grew up in, so that's what different tongues mean. It says, and they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in his own tongue, and we were born Parthians? So look, Parthian right here, which are the Elamites and Medes and Elamites and the dwellers in Mesopotamia. So we're scattered all through this land. It's not, that's us, scattered across. So it's still dealing with Israel, man. It says, and Judea, which is right here, and Cappadocia, right here. And don't see, we the sand of the sea, man. it's many Israelites, man. We're the sin of the sea. We're Most High, you know, um, chosen elect as as his foundation of the new world, true new world order to come, which is the new Jerusalem, new heaven and earth, which is going to be ruled by Israelites. In Pontus and Asia, you can see that right in here. You know, it says Phrygia and Pamphylia in Egypt. There go Egypt right here. So we're all in here, man. Now there go Alexandria, Egypt, which we were called Alexandrians at one point, even Antiochians, when the Greeks took over. And you know, Antiochus Epiphanes thought to rule Egypt and Greece. So he was expanding his borders like any other leader wanting to take, you know, world domination. And that's when them Edomites really came into power. First came into power in the Greek Empire, then the Roman Empire. And now this is the last Rome in America, and they looking for world domination. And along with their allies. But them as the top nation, Cretes. Here you go, and in parts of Libya, you know, that's West Africa. About Cyrene, you know, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, you know, Cretes and Arabians. Look, Arabians, they go to Cretes right here. And a lot of these were called that just because of the, you know, of the land's sake, but it's people before there's a place, before there's a land. You are people, and then you plot and you know, name your land. So it's not the other way around. So we do hear them speak in our own tongues and the wonderful works of the Most High. So you'll have people born in these places outside of Jerusalem and speaking worship, you know, speaking in their own tongue, but worshiping Most High and calling on the name Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai, knowing, coming back into the truth like it is even today. That you could be born anywhere, and if you're an Israelite and your bloodline goes back to being Israel and your spirit confirms it, you might speak, you know, Spanish. You might speak some tongue of African tongue because you were born in Africa, but you're still an Israelite. And then when we come together, or you have a Passover, which is, you know, now we do it in our own state, what have you. Some brothers get together, you know, you call out Yahweh Yahweh Shai, and then it's gonna be a beautiful thing, you know, because we were the lost children, and now we're found. We're back home. That, you know, that brings home when you call out Yahweh Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, when you connect with your brothers, when you learn your heritage, and then you go back to your states, or you know, you might, just like when if they holding Passover in Jerusalem, and then like the Passover, they, you know, have a good time, you know, roast the lamb, drink the wine, you know, hold that ceremonial, you know, day, that high holy day, and then, you know, when it's done, you go back to your country, whatever, and then, you know. But if Jerusalem is destroyed and there's nothing there no more, then you be like, you're gonna sit in those places of your captors in your country, and you're just gonna start getting more into their ways, their philosophy, because you don't have no strong point to go back. You don't have no home to go back to. Jerusalem is pretty much homeless now, man. So it's talking about those scattered among the heathen, among the Africans, among the East Indians, among the Moabites, among all these nations. That's why I said I will gather you from among the heathen, from among these nations. So that's what we're looking for now: salvation from among these nations, because we're finding out. I mean, we've been knowing through the truth, but through the Holy Spirit, starting with the apostles, elders on down, we know that these are really our enemies, man. Esau being the main enemy, so-called white man being the main enemy, but these other nations are our enemy. Now you had when we were in Egypt, they had favored us and all that, But what did the Most High tell us to do? Take over the land of Canaan, man. Slaughter them Canaanites, slaughter the Philistines, slaughter them nations. And he when we went to war with these nations, and we prayed, Most High was with us. He said, I'll be with your hand, so that no man could war against you. But when we start following the laws and commandments, we start losing wars and we go into captivity. Start speaking other languages, start taking on other customs. That's why it says, Jeremiah, don't follow the ways of the customs of the heathen. They are vain. And it mentioned the act that they do and acts that they do. So now the Most High is gathering elect once again. And this time he's going to destroy all our enemies forever. Esau being the main enemy. He's kind of like a new guy. He's old. I mean, he said let the children grow up, but he didn't even exist. The so-called white man didn't even exist at one time. But he started coming into power in the Greek Empire, and then the Roman Empire, and then this last leg of Rome. Because remember that beast that was deadly, wound was healed, he came back in power, but he was in the caves at one time for 1,000 years, So, and he got cultivated out of there and converted to Judaism. That's why he sticks with Judaism. That's all he knows, because that was kind of nurtured him out of power, so to speak, when he got taught, because if you read Nature Knows No Color Line, they were beastly. It smelled bad, They didn't have no, we had to go kind of like, have them, clean them up some kind of way, man. But it said they survived by juniper roots. It tells you that in Obadiah, I think it is, or Jeremiah, I think it is. I mean, it's like Job. But so Most High preserved them, man. And now, look at the power they have now through, they got into the Israel by the Balfour Declaration, British Mandate, 1948, and they established power there. And under the Treaty of Rome, which shortly came after NATO forming in 1949, you see that beast forming, that power system forming, that last, which this is the last power point, going going back, and it's been a they said the triumph of the wicked is short. Like they from Greeks, Romans to this Roman Empire. That's not too long, man. But seems they having a great time during the time because they dominate the country. They're rich. They got sitting their great houses, mansions and castles, whatever they have. They got the Israelites in slavery. So to them, it's been a hell of a hoorah, a hell of a ride. But it's gonna be cut short because they still planning to futurize this thing. They still planning to further their system. Like it says, Psalm 49:11. Their inward thought is their houses continue forever. They land and they name the lands after their names. So they're trying to still, get a hope. But they rule the world, but they ain't got a grip on it. They ain't got it in. They don't feel like it's in the palm of their hands. Well, that's why they're gonna come out with this MOTB. That's when they're gonna feel like it's the palm of their hands because now we're in digital. They're gonna be like, well, yeah, we need to. People are doing digital. They got cyber attacks and all that. Come on, man. How you think they plan to monitor all that? Jake is using cyber stuff too. We're not just, these niggas that they show on TV. It's just a fluke, man. It's some intelligent Jakes out there that are scientists and engineers and highly work with computers and high technology. So they want to monitor everybody, make sure there's no inside matrix, flip. You know what I'm saying? No deja vu glitch or something like that. So they want to MOTB everybody. But yeah, so divide and conquer, and they know Israelites are scattered. So dividing, that one of their strategies is divide and conquer. But Most High is gathering us. The gathering, you can't stop that. So their strategy is to, since they're scattered, we don't know who Israelites are. We can't really tell. Everybody has a beard. Everybody, what I'm saying, the Israelites are a speckled bird. So some of them might look like even our people, so-called white people. Some of them might. So we gotta monitor everybody. We gotta track everybody. We gotta definitely control everybody. So as they go into this World War III, and then martial law, Jacob's trouble, and things, those prophecies, they're gonna be like, well, this is the move. This is the move, man. So, hey, we're strangers here in this modern day Rome. We're strangers here, man. And nobody's gonna save us but Yahweh Yahushai. The only way we getting home, man. And like back then, you had our people that wanted to stay in Egypt. Our people that wanted to, refusing to listen to Moses and refusing to, they want to stay here in this spiritual Egypt. They want to stay in America, man. If they saw chariots physically here, a lot of our people wouldn't even want to go up. First of all, they'd be scared because they don't believe. And then they'd be like, if you had the actual angels come down here, so-called black man, Latino Native America, just like them, look like them, and say, we're going home. This is our time to depart. Let's go back up. They wouldn't go. They want to stay here in this Mizraim, this modern day Mizraim. Bondage. Because they're so comfortable. They've been so comfortable under their oppressors, man. Anyway, to the next video. Shalom.